Who else do you hire to do work for you? And you don't fire them when they disagree with you, won't do what you think, and call you stupid and foolish for daring to challenge their opinion. Your plumber, electrician, interior decorator, car mechanic? No. But 99.9% of us take exactly that attitude from our doctors. Now, most people, they think that's normal. I guess our little community of carnivores, ketovores, low carb, health conscious people who've taken the time and effort to learn the reality of just exactly why we're all getting poisoned slowly over time and suffering and taking all these prescription drugs, are kind of quietly having our own little revolution of sorts. You know, kind of like, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. That kind of revolution. Raging against the machine. And yet we take it. It's especially hard to take for those of us that actually know better. How many times have you been scolded by your doctor when you refused to take a statin? Lectured, sometimes even fired with the words, if you're not going to listen to me, I can't have you as a patient. What kind of arrogance is that? You know, I'm pretty sure about a lot of things in my life. I'm pretty sure that I'm right about so many things, but I'm not absolutely sure that I'm right about anything. For me to display that kind of arrogance. The small percentage of us that know better are the ones that get the brunt of this mistreatment. Either scoldings, or even worse, we get badgered, scared into doubting our own resolve and caving. How do I know that? I've done that. Only to regret it later. Now, a lot of us don't know enough to make our own decisions. And in that case, you got to trust somebody, so you may as well trust your doctor. But if you've taken the time to learn the basics about whether high fat or low fat is better, whether you need or you don't need statins, whether you're metabolically healthy or you're not, these are the things they don't think about. That's not in their purview in the medical community. In this by the book, standard of care, agendized and corrupt systems of anything works as long as it requires a lifetime subscription to take more drugs. So what do you do about it? Well, in any other field, well, I don't care if it's a plumber, a teacher, anybody, even your minister, they get a little out of line. You pull a Donald Trump on them. You're fired. You're fired. Scary sometimes because you say, well, I can't fire my doctor. I can't find a new one. Well, that's when reality sets in. But what's worse for you? Poisonous, destructive advice or no advice? Me, I'm an old man. After a lifetime of this, I can count so many times where doctors have helped me, but it's always been in a trauma situation to fix something. No doctor recommending blood pressure medication, any kind of long-term drugs, has ever fixed anything for me. They've just tried to manage it and manage the pain as the problem gets worse and worse. The root cause, in my belief and in my opinion, of all of these problems has always been nutrition. It always will be nutrition. It always was nutrition. It was nutrition a million years ago as well. It wasn't a prescription deficiency. Never was, never will be. So what do we do about it? Well, it's easy to say fire your doctors. I pretty much did. I still have the VA, but I canceled my physical this year. I'm pretty well reliant on the emergency room. And you got to be careful with them too. But at least if you're in an absolutely life-threatening situation, they will possibly save your life. They'll put you back together again. It's what they do with you after that you got to start to be careful of. The hospital will try to poison you with food. You'll get a new doctor every day coming in and trying to sell you something else, a new kind of prescription. That's where you got to look out for yourself. But at that instant where my life hangs in the balance, yes, I want doctors. Have at it, doc. If you can save me, do it. If you can't, it's been nice knowing you all. That's it. Avoidance at all costs, unless it's deemed necessary. And if I'm unconscious or unable to make that decision, I do have a living will, which gives that power to my children. And I trust my children. Very few else, but I trust my children. If more and more people started firing more and more doctors and told them why, and that's the problem, people are afraid of their doctors. They treat them like royalty, like some kind of official that has some kind of power over them. They are not the judge in traffic court. They are your employee, and you are the employer. The cover of this video shows a doctor being interviewed for a job. That never happens, unless it's at high level for staff positions at a hospital, maybe. But which one of us, as a mere lowly peasant patient, gets to actually have our doctor come in, sit down, and fill out a form, a job interview form? There's a couple of questions I'd love to ask these guys before I had to go in the office, make an appointment, fill out 8 forms, pay a copay, get past the stupid nurse and her questions, get past her blood pressure adventures, and finally get in to see the doctor and find out he's got 2 minutes to talk to me and doesn't have time for my silly questions. He's going to diagnose me, write his prescription, and get on to the next one. I won't let it work that way anymore. There's questions we should ask a doctor. The most important question for those of us in this little group of ours that are watching this video is, do you treat keto and carnivore patients? Yes or no? If they say yes, you say, and what advice do you give them? If he says, well, I think fat is deadly and they all have high cholesterol, so I advised them to put on a statin and they're competitive patient, you say, thanks a lot, doc. Have a great life and have a nice day. You're not for me, and walk out. Unfortunately, that means you'd probably walk out on the vast majority of doctors practicing family medicine out there. And that's what you need. You don't need a specialist as your regular doctor. You need a general contractor, primary care physician, family practice. Because all they do basically is hire subcontractors to work on you. And you need a PCP, preferably, that is a carnivore and knows all this stuff. Hard to find, but there's a few more of them popping up here and there. And there's always the emergency room, which I end up going to anyway. Because with any PCP, even the VA, I've got to wait months for an appointment. And when I have a medical issue, I can't wait months for an appointment. So it's the emergency room for me. I know we're not supposed to go to the emergency room, but they set up this system, not me. Think of some questions that you want to ask your docs. Feel out his attitude. Is he egotistical? Try to call him by his first name. I call all my doctors by their first name from the very beginning. I've had doctors scold me and correct me and say, it's Dr. So-and-so. I'd say, fine, Dr. So-and-so. Nice meeting you. And I'll walk out on them. I won't stand for arrogance, being a bully, superiority, monster ego. I'm sorry. You're working for me. Basically, either me or my insurance company is paying your bills. You're here to be my partner with my healthcare decisions, not my daddy. Scold me once, I'm gone. If more and more people had this attitude, would it make a big difference? Not for a long time, not for a lot of years, not with the attitude and the techniques and the systems and the whole way that the medical community works now. I think it's too big to change. But what we can each do, is maybe try to find, and there actually are some doctors out there who are like Ken Berry and like Anthony Chafee and like Robert Kiltz and like Philip Ovadio and like Annette Bosworth and so many other wonderful, kind and warm people that I've met in our community who are doctors as well. Hopefully not everything that's happened to make these doctors today, the average doctor, into what they are, a prescription pill peddling shill, and bring back some humanity to the medical community. And get me somebody that would be comfortable with me calling him John or Bill instead of Your Highness. Just some food for thought. Take the rest of the day off and eat meat.